Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Man Alone solo role-playing YouTube channel. I'm your host, Man Alone. And, I'm about to hit 10,000 subscribers, which, yeah, I know, it's an arbitrary number, etc., etc., but come on. It's clearly kind of cool. And that, as well as some other stuff that's been going on in my personal life, have given me pause to consider the channel going forward, what I want to get out of it, things I want to do with it. It just seems like to present a good dividing line for me to ask myself, as I often do, and many of you watching this have done, will do, are doing, is saying, is this exactly what I want? Is there a way to bring this closer in alignment with what I want? Is all of this serving me? Am I hanging on to any things with this channel that I don't need to be hanging on to, or that I'm hanging on to for not the right reasons? And so I will say right off the bat, overall, I think we're doing pretty well. I am still enjoying making videos. I still love this hobby. I love connecting with all of you. One of the things that's been a little bit difficult having more subscribers is just not being able to keep up with the flow of comments. I still do try to respond to comments when I can, but I know from the perspective of a commenter, especially when there's comments that are like very directly asking me things or saying things, and I know it probably, well, it doesn't feel good for me to not be able to answer all of those, but it's just one of those things that there's no reason why I can't answer, a comment, but there is a reason why I can't answer all of these comments. And so that's been tough for me, but I haven't seen anybody like rage quit the comment section or anything like that. Everyone's pretty cool and understanding, and I want to keep connecting in that way. Obviously, the members only Discord is hopping, and that's been awesome as well. So those things are great. Being able to share this hobby in this way, it's great. Meeting the people, connecting with other creators, all of it is great. So on the whole, please let me just like sort of not bury the lead. I don't know what we're doing with the lead, but this is not the video in which I announced that I'm going to be pivoting to a channel on, a retrospective on 30 years of Olympic swimming. Maybe I'll do that in 30 years. I'll start paying attention to it now. So there's not going to be a massive change, but there is some things that I think, going to let fall off that are atrophied a bit. And then also some things I want to do more of. And so I just took some time to consider that. And one of the things that, eventually I figured out is there's a type of video I want to be doing that I'm not doing because it just doesn't seem to fit in the repertoire, or the content of that is sort of absorbed by other videos, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm actually going to introduce that video format in this video. I'll do that just in a little bit. I'll even reboot it with like a new intro title sequence. Yes, I know I have a new general title sequence, but this specific show on the Man Alone channel will have its own title. But I just want to talk broadly about some things that I'm thinking about changing up a little bit. And yes, there is a reason why I have Nighthawks by Edward Hopper here. We'll talk about that with the new video format. So, one of the things that actually prompted me to make this channel in the first place was a scene in the Dungeon Dive with Daniel, that he was talking about a game. I don't remember what game it was. It was something either like Dungeon. It could have been more board game, or it could have been that very intensely neon colored board game by Goblinko. I forget, but he was sort of reviewing it, and then he said, I know that a lot of you in the comments would like me to do playthroughs, but he said I don't like doing that. I don't enjoy it. It's not fun for me, and so that's not something I want to do on this channel. And I was like, there was no part of me where I was like, what? I I rarely actually watch playthroughs unless it is to learn a game. But I know that different people absorb those things differently. And the thought that came up when I saw him say that, that was actually like the spark for this channel, where I said, well, I am good at that. I'm happy to do that in front of a camera, because I'm very comfortable thinking on the fly and improvising and, stitching things together to make them work and stuff like that. And here is this sort of gap in the market, so to speak. I probably didn't think of it in those terms, but hey, that's a great place for me to jump in. And then, as does happen often, the weird videos that you sort of do when you're like, well, I don't really want to do a playthrough right now. I'll do this other kind of video that really nobody wants to see, but hey, why not? It's fun. And then I did a lot of videos like that, and those are videos that people really clamped onto. And I think I don't really know how to describe those videos, but they're contemplative, maybe tying together tabletop role playing with psychology, philosophy, some sort of school of thought, some things I've read, just some things I've thought about. And those are great. Now, those don't grow on trees, as it were, right? Like I cannot make one of those videos every day, because they have to sort of like hit me with or they have to be something that I think about for a while, and it sort of marinates inside my brain, and then finally I'm ready to serve the chicken a la king. And I wouldn't want to do that, and it wouldn't also be something that people would want to watch, because if I were literally trying to create a critical essay about tabletop role playing every week, even, the quality of that would really suffer. And also it would start to feel so false, because it would become something where I am trying to, create some sort of intriguing or inspiring message when I'm not particularly feeling that. It also doesn't work from a standpoint of like, you could tell when somebody's less enthused about something. And so I like that when those come up, I feel the spirit lifts me, and I do that, and I'll keep doing that as often as those things come along. And then playthroughs, I do enjoy them, and I've had a difficult relationship with them on this channel, just because I have discovered and have talked about before that there is a group of people that really loves watching playthroughs, but they are like a small and mighty bunch. And it is something that I think I got in my head a little bit about at some point, maybe a year ago, because it almost seems as though in the solo role-playing YouTube community, if such a thing exists, in terms of creators, there definitely is, like, among players and viewers and commenters and all that, but I think there's some interplay between creators as well. It seems to be like a mark of legitimacy to do playthroughs, because it's not like proving that you can. I mean, everybody can. It's just sort of like, I don't know, or at least it seemed like that's paying your dues or putting in your time, or sort of like, I guess, legitimating your practice. So, for instance, if you read a book by a doctor, and this doctor said, oh, well, here's the best way to take care of patients and cure illness and stuff, but then that doctor was not doctoring, like they weren't seeing patients, they weren't applying the new science and stuff, that would be sort of something where it's like, well, hey, I mean, how do you know that this is the best approach to things because you're not applying it? Or like a chef that, I don't know, doesn't eat, isn't cooking, or whatever. Um, and so it does seem to be like, yes, I am somebody who is able to review these games, is able to um, consider these games, is able to teach these games, but I'm also somebody who is still playing these games. And so that gives me a certain ethos to talk about it. I don't think that is totally true. I'm just saying that is something that I perceived. And then there was also this thing of like that very nugget that from Daniel from Dungeon Dive that got me playing in the first place. That became an appliance, as sort of um, maybe a shadow in my mind uh, of that was causing me some degree of tension, because I started this channel in order to share that. And so if I wasn't doing that enough, then I was almost like betraying myself, or I was succumbing to something, or I was giving up on something, or I was, I just picture somebody like a petulant child being disappointed in an adult, and I see in my head somebody like, you're just like all the rest of the solo creators. You don't even want to play these games. You just want to talk about them. Again, not real, but something that sort of was working in my subconscious a little bit. And so I have come to some clarity about that. Really, I still love I clearly still love solo role playing. I solo role play in my bed 3 nights a week. Or not only in my bed, but it's like something I do before I go to sleep. I pop open the notebook, or uh, put a clipboard out or whatever. So I love that. And I also love playing on camera. The thing that is really, really cognitively draining is learning new systems. Um, and I think that is a piece of things that people don't necessarily think about, nor should people viewing a video really think about that. Is that if I got this game the other day. Let me go grab it. Why can't I pause? Okay, this Mortal Coil. It's on DriveThruRPG. Because I sell my games on DriveThruRPG, I get like the revenue on there, and I often just take it as credit on there so that I could buy games for the channel and stuff. And I really almost primarily prefer to use physical books for my own personal play as well as on camera. I was just born too late or something. PDFs always feel like I'm trying to read through somebody else's nose or something. But whenever there's a printed game that looks half decent, I'm gonna go, well, I'll check it out, right? And so I got this Mortal Coil, and this is a game that is you are a space traveler turned necromancer on a quest to achieve eternal life. Looks pretty cool, and it is based on. I actually like how it talks about this here. This Mortal Coil is built on top of and designed to be compatible with Liminal Horror by Goblin Archives, a modern horror game hack of the game Cairn by Yokai Gal, which itself is a hack of the game Into the Odd by Chris McDowell and Knave by Ben Milton. I'm not certain that order of things is exactly right. Is it? Anyways, not important. And so if I wanted to play this game on camera, I have to know how to play it. And I also have to know Liminal Horror. And then there's an extra step involved for solo players, because as far as I can tell, I know Liminal Horror is not. And I am fairly certain that this is not formatted for solo play. And so there's an extra step of having to learn how to solo play this as well, which, you know, and that is a pretty strong feature of, right, this is a solo channel. And so I could just, I could just slap Mythic on it, but even then I would need to consider things like, how do I determine, difficulty rating for saves, how do I do combat, etc. There's all these sort of adaptations. The point being that I can do that off camera, and I can spend 2 or 3 hours trying to learn that. I could do it on camera, which in my experience, people are have less tolerance for. And there's also a piece of me that's a little bit uncertain about that sometimes, because I've never gotten hit by like a copyright thing or anything by a game creator, but technically you cannot read somebody's book on camera. Like, you can use for educational purposes, you could talk about it, you could refer to it. I'm not so much worried that anyone's going to sue me. Everybody is pretty cool outside of a few companies that I would not dare to do that with. But the other thing is, like, these folks are trying to sell their games. Some of them, this is their only income. And so I don't want to just be like, here's this entire book here. And on top of that, if you try to like learn and teach and play at the same time, it could be extremely tedious as a person making the video, because you're pausing, you're going back, you're trying to read quickly so you don't have to pause again, and then you're kind of half understanding something, and then you're implementing it wrong, and then you figure it out later. And so it's just not a very fun experience. And on top of that, I think it's like grinding me down a bit. I've started to get a bit of yips with my videos. I don't think it's exactly yips, but I think it's the closest thing to it. Or what do they call it in gymnastics? The twisties. If you're not familiar with this, the yips are in any sort of precision sport. A person who has experience, who has done something for a long time, suddenly just like is unable to do it. A famous case of this was Chuck Knobloch on the New York Yankees. He was like a Golden Glove. What was he? Shortstop, second baseman. And all of a sudden, he just started getting in his head about his throwing mechanics, and he would just like throw the ball into the stands instead of throwing it to first base. I think once he actually threw it and the ball hit Chris Berman's head, who was a ESPN, or Chris Berman's mother's head. That might be wrong. I seem to remember that though. Anyways, it's a really terrible thing for these athletes, because it's something they've done automatically, like throwing. Chuck Knobloch was probably doing that for 40 years, and then suddenly it just is like, wait, how do I do this? And I have not been unable to throw anything on this channel, thankfully. But what I have done is, quite often I'll start a video and I'll start going, and then 11 minutes in, I'll just be like, you know what? I don't really like how this video's been. I'll restart it. I don't think I was going in a good direction, or something I said was a little bit like maybe misleading, or maybe it was like a joke I was trying to make that didn't quite land right. What if somebody takes that the wrong way, and then I'm going to have to deal with that in the comments and all this stuff. And so it's given me this thing where sometimes I'll sit down to make a video at 9 p.m. and then I just have to quit by like 3 a.m. because I haven't been able to do it. And I will also employ these procrastination techniques where I'll start saying, oh, well, I need to get like the perfect character sheet for this. And then let me look at these different character sheets. It'd be really cool if I used the Scarlet Heroes system for this. So maybe let me try to combine Scarlet Heroes with this. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's 3 a.m. And I go, oh no, well, I guess I got to go to bed. But I think my mind was trying to get that to happen all along. Now, this does not happen all the time. This is not something where I'm asking for sympathy or an intervention here, but it does happen. And I notice it happens a lot when I'm making videos where I am attempting to do actual play. And especially when I am doing actual play for a game that I've just learned, or a game that I don't know if I'm interested in it. Like, I just bought it, maybe it looks cool, etc. And so this has really given me pause because I'm not one to just be like, oh, well, that was mildly difficult. Let me quit. In fact, if we look at like Pendragon and my experiences with that, I'm very happy that I have been persisting with that because it's been tough, but I'm I'm still going, from November 14th, 2024 and till November 14th, 2029, I will keep making those episodes. And so, there is that sort of thing where you come up against something difficult, and the perseverance it builds a sort of stronger muscle. And then there's other stuff that's going like, hey, is this building a stronger muscle, or are you just kind of like torturing yourself because you're doing something that you don't really like to do? And that was the whole motivation with this channel from the very start, is I'm only going to do things I like to do, because it's not that I'm like finding myself and doing an eat pray love version of a solo role-playing channel where I'm like, I'm finally going to play my kind of game. That's not it. It's that if I don't like it, I'll stop doing it. And I don't want to stop doing it because I really enjoy it. But if it starts to feel like a job, I knew that I was just going to like figure out a way to say, okay, well, you know what? I don't really feel like it anymore. I'm not there at all, but I am in a place where I'm going, I'm feeling a little less enthused about certain videos, and I need to identify what it is about those videos, and I need to identify what we're going to do about it. Here's and this is where I was stuck for like probably the last month or so. I've been stuck on that because I made this list of things that like I wanted to do, that I maybe wanted to do, and that I definitely didn't want to do. So there's 3 cards here. We can go through some of this, or 3 colors of cards here. There's gold is like what I want to do, what I want to keep doing or do even more of. Silver are things that I might want to play around with, try out. And then red cards are one that's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to try this, or I'm doing it now and I want to stop doing it. And I tried to boil it down as elemental as I could, about sort of, it wasn't like, I don't want to, I want to review more Mongoose games. It wasn't that specific. It was more like, I want to make shorter videos, could be an example. That isn't, unfortunately for some of you, not a conclusion I came to. I like making these longer videos, but that's an example of the type of conclusion I'd come to. And so, I know that I still want to do actual play, but I do not want to do it with games I'm unfamiliar with. I think that's the dividing point, is that I think I would like to focus my actual play on games that I like playing, that I know how to play, or at least that I am a big forgetter, which is weird because I have a like bulletproof memory for certain things. But in terms of rules, because I am a very type B person, I will learn the rules of how to play a game. Within a month, I'll forget them. But I have like the ghost of them in my head, so it's very easy for me to like boot them back up again. I just have to sort of paint in the lines and I go, oh, that's right. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Even Dragonbane, I wrote that whole solo supplement on it. Like right now, I'm going through it in my head as I'm talking, and I'm like, how do I do that? And most things I'm like, yeah, okay, it's D20, that's right. But it's not like I could, you know, immediately verbalize right now all of the rules of Dragonbane. I just kind of forget. Like I'm like, this is probably, I'm like Sherlock Holmes in that way, right? Like Sherlock Holmes, this was a very, very impactful thing on me in my childhood. Was like, I read the Arthur Conan Doyle books, and one of the best things was that Holmes would learn nothing about a subject if it didn't help him to solve crimes. And I think that learning this like really, really affected how I learn, because there was a scene where I forgot exactly what it was, but it was something like Watson was making a reference to like the Kuiper belt or somewhere in space, and Holmes is like, what is that? And he's like, it's outside of Neptune. He's like, what's Neptune? He like learned nothing about outer space because he's like, I don't want to take up any room because I need to have like a full lexicon of poisons inside my head, and I don't want to start shifting stuff out so that I can fit in things about the asteroid belt. Anyways, so this isn't about my learning styles. Maybe it is. So I think that what that looks like, that is still a little bit liquid, but it ties into this new video format that I want to do, because in addition to not wanting to like spend hours and hours and hours, because this is what happens. I will spend hours and hours learning how to play a game. I will play it on camera. I will like it. Every once in a while, I'll be like, wow, this is revelation. I love this game. I can't wait to play it before I go to bed tonight. That's rare, 10% of the time. Then 10 to 20% are like, I hated that. Usually I'll have a good sense of it before I sit down and play it on the channel to know that. But every once in a while, it's like, ugh, I hated that. I don't ever want to play that game again. Most of the games I go, that was fine. I don't really want to play it anymore. I wouldn't mind, but it was okay. I liked it. It was fine. It was serviceable. And, I just can't invest like 5 hours into a game that's serviceable. And so it's not only about having like doing actual plays for games that are proven quantities for me. It's also the fact that based on how the system I have set up, either intentionally or unintentionally, about how I make videos, if I was going to do a video where I play this Mortal Coil, it would be a video on how to play this Mortal Coil. And I actually think the reason that I would do that is because I have been subconsciously affected by the algorithm. Because if you've been following this channel for a long time, when I first started, I would very often do videos with several different games and ideas. Now, I still do that sometimes when I'm like, here's 47 books that you could play this sort of game, right? But I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about like, I very often made videos where I said, okay, well, I want to talk about Dragonbane for a little while. Hey, that was cool. Now let's take a look at Old School Essentials. This is weird. What do you think about that? Oh, I just got this Merc Borg game today. It's a spin-off game. I bet you here in 2023 will be the last time anyone will make a Merc Borg compatible game. Whatever it was, I would run through this, but I don't even remember learning this, but I know it, which is why I think I've been subliminally programmed. If your video is not about a game, it gets buried. Like if your video is, and this is a word to the wise, perhaps, if you give a shit, I don't know if you do, but if you're someone who's making videos right now, I do see this with like newer creators. They'll make a video that's like, here's a couple RPGs I got this week. Your video is going to get buried. It has to be like, this specific game will be played and I will show you this about it, and I will do an actual play, and I will show you what system it is and all this stuff, because specificity like that kills. And so I want to disabuse or disenthrall myself with that sort of thing. But at the same time, I don't want to start making videos again where I'm just farting around, because, this is something that I am beholden to people. And I know that plenty of them would say, oh, don't feel that way. But that's why I like created a membership. That's why I monetized my channel, so that I had that motivation to like publish often and dedicate my thoughts to it to a certain extent, like 25%. I would say is like the target range for how much I should be thinking about and working on this channel is like 25% of my life is ideal for me. And so because of that, I don't want to just be like, yeah, here's a couple things and 37-minute video. Here you go. Let me show you. Here's this mortal coil. Good. Yeah, whatever. But I think I want to be specific in terms of a concept in videos more often rather than a specific game. And so that's what I started thinking about. I started thinking about how could I make videos that are specific. They have a specific vibe, they have a specific goal, they have a specific setup, but they're not necessarily just limited to one thing. And that way I can stop having this pile of, 43 games to my, I don't know why 43 is the number of the video, but I have all these games next to me and I'm looking at them and I'm going, oh yeah, I really want to do a video on that. And then I'll pick it up and I'll be like, but if I do a whole video on this, then I'm like, I guess tomorrow I'll do a video on that one. And then when am I going to fit this one in? Now it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad problem to have because it's not like, oh, I've got to review this game. I love it. This is great. This is so fun. But I only have so many hours in the day. And then of that, we're looking to spend about 25% of them on this. And so I want to create a venue for myself to do videos, sometimes I would say once or twice a week, that are more broad. I can introduce different things. And I want to introduce new things. I want to broaden it a little bit without betraying the core mission of this channel. Okay, I've tortured you long enough. We'll talk about what those things are. They're all sort of in the realm of tabletop role-playing. There's nothing that I want to talk about on this channel that is too far afield. But I want to open myself up and at least have a video series or video type where I can explore those things without feeling like I'm, like betraying the core concept of my channel. Anyways, how about this? How about I go ahead and I play the new intro and then I'll talk about some of the things that I have. And so you can watch this and just behold it as it is. Let's hope that this works. This might be technical difficulties, but let's try our best.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Hello.
It looks exactly
Hello.
as if we were watching with a corpse.
Oh, there you are. I was afraid for a moment that you had forgotten our appointment.
Good evening. This is Sergeant X. They say that ghosts and the like just don't exist.
You remember me, don't you? I'm your host on behalf of the makers of Carter's Pills, and you're to be my guest tonight in the mysterious circle of the inner sanctum.
Well, unless you think more of a large fat fee than you do of your life, I advise you to throw up the case at once.
Apparently, we don't look at this in the same light, Mr. Dalrymple. I expect danger, and I'm prepared to meet it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Man Alone After Dark. I am your host, Man Alone, and thank you for joining me on this new video format that I hope to release at least once a week, maybe more. The After Dark show will be an opportunity for me to color outside the lines that I've set up on the channel. I'll still be doing playthroughs of some of my favorite games. I'll still be doing all the member podcasts, Pendragon playthrough. But I wanted to give myself a space to not have to worry about hitting the algorithm right in the midsection every time. And so I'm focusing on creating a vibe here, creating a thematically coherent show. And that's really what this is. I want to do an RPG talk show. And remember I said we're going to talk about Nighthawks by Edward Hopper. So this is one of my favorite paintings. And although it doesn't seem like it, that is a massive achievement for me to admit that. And the reason is because a decade ago, when I was still very much embroiled in addiction. A very weird part of my addiction that I did not understand for a long time until I understood how it was related to that in recovery. A weird part of my addiction was that I always had to be unique. I had to be special. I had to be the one person in the room. If everybody's favorite color was green, I had to be the person that liked blue. And Nighthawks is, it's a widely known painting, and I know that it's on a lot of people's top painting lists, and for good reasons, because it's amazing. But for me to say that this was one of my favorite paintings, well, then I was just like everybody else, which is very ironic for Nighthawks, considering the fact that this is one of the few paintings that I remember encountering as a child and knowing that it meant something specifically about me. Strangely, this is a painting that I've always understood as being about loneliness. And even despite that, I have always wanted to live this life. I've always wanted to be in that diner. I always wanted to be this guy right here, because I am of the night. There's some of us who are just like creatures of the night, I guess, vampires. The night is when I finally feel awake. It is like it takes me that long to finally feel like I'm truly inhabiting myself. I've never been an early bird gets the worm kind of person. I'm a person who rages against the dying of the light, not because I'm an angsty teenager, but because I just don't want the day to end. I don't, sleep is boring. And for a long time, as you could probably predict, this was a big element of my addiction as well. And I always thought that I had to change this in order to heal, but it's not true. Like, I just have to make sure that the night hawking I'm doing is not self-destructive in that way. What's interesting about this painting is that Hopper, when they asked, they said, what, this is about loneliness, right? Like all these people, they're lonely. And for Hopper, and when he said this, it really clicked for me. He said, no, these people are together. This is what is lonely, this city. These people are around other people. And even though maybe they're, she's whatever, looking at a French fry, he's got some sort of resignation. He's got to get to work or just got off work. He probably is just taking this job for a few months to get back on his feet. And he said that to himself, 25 years ago. But at least they are with other people. This city is lonely. And to me, that was absolutely how I felt, and absolutely why I used to love coffee shops. Suck now, but they used to be so awesome. And there used to be coffee shops that were open till 4 a.m. I used to go there, and I love, if there, as much as corrosive as social media and everything is, there is an opportunity here to be not alone at 2 a.m. Especially given in the members Discord, there's people who are like in way different time zones across the planet, and so you never really feel like you're all alone there. And also making videos and connecting this way, it's just a great way to just keep the wheel turning, even if all the goodies early bird people are already asleep. No, there's nothing wrong with being an early bird person. And so I wanted to create a format that was, if you can believe it, a little bit looser. And I know that my channel is not known as the most tightly edited channel, but looser in the sense that like I can talk about 4 different games, or I can play a game. You know, it'd be a lot easier for me to check out This Mortal Coil if maybe I could play it for like 10, 15 minutes, or just check it out for a little while and then move on to something else, rather than feeling like, well, you know, I'm making this video. I've got to, you know, I don't want to upload a 12-minute video because it does take a long time to write descriptions and to format it and to put the tags on it and then do the commercial, you know, checks and everything. It takes a while. So it's like, well, if I'm going to make a video and go through all that, I should make it as close to an hour as I can. But what if we could do more things in that hour? We could do more games. Or how about this, if we could do more than just games? And so I talked to you about these 3 categories of cards. I think this would be a good time to talk about some of the things that I want to do. So this is the first one, is gold. And these are things that I want to do more of, or I want to keep doing. I want to do more features. And I don't fully know what that means, but I guess what this means is like more approaches to this hobby. Right now we have reviews, actual plays, and occasionally an essay. I think we could probably figure out some different ways to evaluate, enjoy this content. There's a whole artistic side of this that I feel doesn't fully get addressed. There's a full collector's side to this hobby that, to many, being a collector looks like a consolation prize. And that's not fair, because I have a shelf like that has all the most beautiful tabletop role-playing games, and I love that shelf. I have all of my silly Merc board paraphernalia on one shelf, and it's like has a certain diorama-like structure to it. I love it. That is not something that is a consolation prize. That's one of the things that we do. And so I would like to look at it from a collector's standpoint. I would like to look at it. We have so many people talking on the Discord about like different book binding or book creation, printing, pricing, things like that. Now, I want to draw a line though, and I don't want to get anyone excited. I don't want to talk about the politics of this. And the reason is because I don't want to be part of that conversation. Right? I get pulled into it from time to time on this channel just because people have to see things as either one way or another in terms of political orientation, but I just don't care. Hey, buddy, you want to ride? The ants are coming back because it's getting a little warmer outside. It's okay. Well, he can visit. So, you know, I'm never thinking about that kind of thing, and it's just every time it happens, I'm like, oh, this was not worth it. I can't stand this. And so you know, that's going to happen sometimes, but there's so much arguing. Do we really need one more channel that's like, you know, uppercutting the rightoids or serving it up to the libs? Like, just give it, please. I'm not interested in that. Okay, I want this to be a third space channel where we can just discuss this hobby. And you know, there's going to be things that come up that naturally have political sort of connotations to them, but if that happens, it's incidental, and I don't want that to be a focus. But I do want to evaluate things from a critical standpoint of philosophy, theology, through the lens of culture, through the lens of industry, through business. I'd like to look at like the business of this hobby. I think there's some weird stuff going on here that is very puzzling. Oh, that's not a pun. We're safe. I would like to look at music. And so all of these could be features. And in fact, I think I list out some of these. Oh, I would also like to do more reviews. I don't know what happened, but I used to do a lot of reviews on this channel. And then I just started doing like teach you how to play and playthroughs. And I just, reviews, I started to like feel like when I would post reviews of something, I would feel like I didn't do the whole job, like that I left it open-ended or something. And so I want to review games, but I also want to review games in a way that is simultaneously honest and also takes care of the fact that most people making this stuff are not like Money Corp LLC. There's a few that are, but most people are just trying their best. So unless there's something like flagrantly, agonizingly obnoxious or something, and I would like to look at it as charitably as I can, but at the same time, I do want to do reviews that are helpful to people who are evaluating whether or not they want to buy a game, because that's sort of like again the unfortunate thing about polarization is everything is either terrible or amazing, and it's just like not possible. Most things are just fine. So yeah, we could find our way with that. I like to do more stories. I'd like to hear more stories. I opened up. I wrote a post to have people leave some voicemails, and I was thinking they would be funny voicemails, but then of course, because the people who follow and everything are just some of the best people, I got really touching voicemails and really earnest messages. And I would love to open up that dialogue some more. Now, I'm not at a place where I want to do a live show. I have done a live sort of online show in my past, and I can tell you it is extremely difficult. It is way more difficult than you think. Just to like make a video, there are several things that happen that like get walked back. Like you'll start recording and then all of a sudden some setting that you forgot that you set will pop up something on your screen and you're like, oh yeah, I have to go back and do that. When it's a live show, you have to handle all that stuff. I can't put that pressure on myself when I am just here by myself, especially, I mean, I could do that if I'm just like talking. But I don't know. I don't see a big reason for that. I mean, I upload so consistently, but I would like to figure out more ways to have people interact, whether that's guests or leaving messages or having more dialogue or having places where people can respond to things. I think that would be cool. And I want to do more than games. I think that there is a whole network of things that are that I want to make videos about. I really, really want to make videos about Warhammer 40K, and I don't want to make videos about the tabletop wargaming side of it. I mean, that might come up, but I would rather not give any press to that business. And I do want to talk about the lore, and I want to talk about what I consider to be some of the insights that I have had while reading and absorbing that material that I think just are like flying by other creators' heads, that I find myself so often being like, ugh, I wish I had a Warhammer channel so that I could talk about this, because I think their theory on this is totally wrong, or I think they're totally misinterpreting the meaning of this. And it's just got to the point where I'm like, I don't want to make that the heart and soul of my channel. That's not why people signed up for it. But again, to have a different kind of show where I could talk about stuff like that, That's really appealing. Some other things I'd like to talk about, like books. I think there's a big crossover here in terms of just non-RPG books, philosophy, lifestyle stuff. I would love to talk about dice, and I wanted to I wanted to say something about the dice, but really quick. I also want to say thank you to one of our sponsors and make sure that I have an opportunity to tell you a little bit about this video's sponsor. There we go. Folks, I am so proud to have Noble Knight Games as a sponsor of the Man Alone channel. Since 1997, they have been serving the needs of gamers all over the world. They specialize in new and out-of-print RPGs, board games, war games, collectible card games, miniatures, all things game-related. At Noble Knight, they take pride in providing great experiences for their customers, so whether you're shopping in their brick-and-mortar store, Castle up in Fitchburg, Wisconsin, or through their easy-to-use website, you're going to see that pride reflected in every step of the process. All along the way, you're going to enjoy discounted pricing, easy and secure checkout, fast and super friendly customer service, worldwide shipment, free shipping on domestic orders over $149, and most important to us, they have a huge selection. Noble Knight wants you to have the best gaming experience possible, and the most important step for that to happen is to have the game you need. So to assist you in that, they regularly have rare and out-of-print titles available. Games so rare that you probably didn't even know they exist. Games you maybe just think of any game. Drew Barrymore Simulator. They maybe have that. Go look for yourself by clicking on the link below. And P.S. if you click that link in the video description, you're not only about to enter a world of gaming euphoria, but you're also going to be supporting the Man Alone channel. When you're ready to check out, you can expect that your order is going to be carefully packed and shipped promptly. In many instances, the same day you place your order. And hey, don't have the scratch to afford what you want right now? Well, good news. Noble Knight not only sells the games you want, they also buy the ones you don't want anymore. So that big pile of shame in your corner, those games covered in dust that don't spark joy anymore, just click the link in the top left-hand corner of their homepage, and you will be amazed at how easy this process is, how fair their offers are, and just how diverse the selection of games that they're willing to buy. Anything game related. You can probably sell them that game with the pink phone where you talk to boyfriends. What was it? Dream phone? I don't know. I can't remember. I was too busy dominating all competition in Battleship at the time, but they'll probably buy that too. Give it a shot. As always, they offer a satisfaction guarantee, so go ahead and click the link below. Check out Noble Knight Games, where the out of print, come on everybody, say it with me, where the out of print is available again. Thank you so much, Noble Knight Games, for sponsoring the Man Alone channel. This is not part of that. Thank you to everybody who does click that link. And for those who did purchase some dice from dicenest.com already, I'm just I'm so touched by that. And I have made a decision that from here forward, truly all Dice Nest proceeds are going to BB and mine's honeymoon. This is going to be our honeymoon cachet. So check out that link below as well. If you just think of it like you get some dice, but you also get us a ride. We can swim with the dolphins. Thank you to Dice Nest and Noble Knight and all the sponsors. And that is another thing that I wanted to say while I ice massage my wrist. That's killing me here. This thing is amazing. Too bad they're not sponsoring as well. But I'm looking to do like micro sponsorships. Not necessarily money changing hands or anything, or if so, maybe we could figure out something else. But I would like to open up in this show a venue to have, if you're a musician and you got a new album out, I would love to drop a link for that and to give it a listen on the stream. If you're somebody that just made a game and it's on drive-through, to let people know about that. If you're somebody who has an Etsy shop, if you all these things, I think that there are some ways to make the show really work for the community, as well as to tap into just the incredible source of like creativity and capability that we have. So I'm very open to ideas on that front as well. It's like a talk show, you know. It's like a talk show. We could do whatever. All right, a couple of things that I'm a little bit ambivalent about adding here is my gum, video games and computer games. Wow, that really doesn't show up well, huh? That's something I don't know. I don't know. I definitely don't want to go too far down that because I don't want to become like a gamer channel. Not that I have anything against that, but that is a whole different breed of things. There are some games I think that fit the mold of what I do on this channel. For instance, like Elden Ring, I think has an amazing cosmology to it, and the game is just so intriguing. Like, what is going on? There's games like that. There's also game versions of like some of the games that we play on the channel. So there is, I think, some tangential mentions to be made. I just don't think I want to be a channel where I'm like playing F-Zero. Even the fact that I just used F-Zero as the example should tell you something. But yeah, I don't even know if anyone calls them computer games anymore, but like Steam games and stuff like that. And for all this, let me know your thoughts. Yeah, so I talked about this. I want to do less untested playthroughs. You know, it's not saying I'll never do it, but I just want to sort of announce, I guess, make that announcement. It's sort of like when you're raising rent. It's like, hey, just so everybody knows, we're going to be raising rent next year. It's like, hey, just so everybody knows, I'm going to be doing, less playthroughs of, this game that's 68 pages that I've never heard of before. I really want to play a game, to do an actual play. I've got to want it. It can't, if it's just a game that I want to show because it's new or that people are interested in it, I'm going to do a review. I'm going to do a description of it, a discussion of it, but I'm not going to feel compelled anymore to teach people how to play or to do a playthrough. Then again, Dragonbane, Scarlet Heroes, every day more and more Black Hack, Into the Odd, Into the Bronze. There are lots of games that I just like love to play, and so sometimes I will just play those games, and that actually feels great. Like, I think not having to, when I do actual plays, not having to do the latest game that comes out, just being able to do games that I really like, and gameless playthroughs, because I do that very often. Like, I don't always use systems. I use my cards a lot. You got Deck of Dungeons, you've got dice, you've got an idea. I don't know if this is sort of like giving away trade secrets, but sometimes I just solo play without a system. And sometimes I resolve combats with single dice rolls. And I think that maybe that's something that people don't realize, or they would like to do, but they feel like there's a rat race to get to the perfect system. The more I play Scarlet Heroes, the more I realize that, like, this came out in 2014. It's done. Kevin Crawford, this is the best system. It's the best solo system. So just stop. But we don't. We keep looking for these new systems because we want different approaches to it, and that's a good thing. But yeah, if we were just like, we'll stop when we get to the best system, the game's been over for 11 years. So yeah, less untested playthroughs, more vested playthroughs, more collaboration. Again, I want to be featuring music on Man Alone After Dark. I want to be featuring, if I can get guests. Guests is a little bit tricky. I love having guests. I love talking to people, doing interviews, but not even interviews, just having, like, one of my favorite things I ever did for the SEAL team videos is we just did like a discussion of mega dungeons and people's experiences with that. So I don't really want to do interviews in that sense of like press. I think that there are people, members of the community, the Solo Role Players podcast. It's like PJ is going to do better interviews than I'm ever going to do. And so why not just work alongside him and others who do that kind of thing rather than trying to reinvent that wheel. But I would love to have like some panel episodes where I just have like a couple of us talking about a game or talking about an event or giving feedback on stuff, get more people involved, some more collaboration. That's in silver because I don't know what I want that to look like yet. I don't know to what extent, how often. I want people to know that I'm open to that, but at the same time, I don't want to. Maybe this is a little bit selfish, but I guess just saying it'll be a good boundary for myself. I am interested in doing stuff with other people. I want people to know that I'm open to that, but I'm not interested in people like emailing me and being like, "Hey, I want to be your co-host. Here's my CV. I've done all kinds of gaming. I'm not looking for that thing. It should come about naturally, but if people have ideas for shows or segments that they want to do and I have a relationship with you in some way, I'm like open to doing that stuff. So just let me know, especially in the Discord. More live vids. I don't know. I just don't know. It's a tricky thing. I have enjoyed it. YouTube certainly wants, my teeth whistled. YouTube certainly wants me to do live videos. They're giving like massive incentives to do that over the last year. They're fun, but the problem with live vids for me is I can't really focus on anything. Every time I make a live video, whatever I was planning on talking about, I just end up talking to the people who are in the chat, which isn't the worst thing, but then it's like, well, why would I do that? Why wouldn't I just like open up a voice chat on the server? Because then at least I'll know that I'm not going to have like somebody Zoom bomb the live feed and start, be like, here's some swear words I know. This one is not going to change. None politics. And yeah, here's another one. And I think everyone can rest easy. This is a red card. I think I want to do even less editing, damn it. Even less than I do now. So all of you who are afraid I was going to start editing these vids, fear not. Fear not. So yeah, this is a lot. I applaud anybody who made it through this video. It definitely was a video that I can't tell if it was interesting or the most pedantic, boring video I've ever made. Either way, I'll just hit the upload button, which I call the fun load button. It's absurd. Otherwise, yeah, if you have any ideas, questions, comments, put them down. I'd love to hear from you. I think I'll put this out to everybody. We'll see how that goes. Probably get some interesting things back. But yeah, thanks for coming along and hope you enjoyed the new title sequences. I'll have to work on a new outro, or at least update them with current members. I mean, good grief. Oops. Wait.